I would say in some segments, EV is the present and not the future, right? So you just presented the numbers. So in three-wheelers, etc., EVs are majority now. If you look at the I would say that in some segments it's the present. But I think there needs to be an expectation reset on both sides. So initially, when there was a lot of talk about 100% EVs by 2030, etc., and let's be real, that's not going to happen, because currently the way EV tech
Correct.
is and the way it is, we have some visibility for over the next few years. It's not going to be 100%. It's not going to be 100% anytime soon, right? But a significant proportion of two-wheelers and some portion of four-wheelers can easily convert to EVs. So, and we would see this gradually happening. It's not just about the product, although the product limitations that you talked about in terms of charging times, in terms of range anxiety, etc., these are real. But practically, bulk of the privately owned vehicles, two-wheelers or four-wheelers, rarely travel more than 30 kilometers a day. So that's not so much of an issue. But I think, other ecosystem-related issues related to finance, related to second-hand market, etc., also need to be resolved. So it's a infrastructure, I would say, ecosystem issue which needs addressing on multiple fronts. I don't think directly subsidy is the answer. So subsidy is not the silver bullet, and I don't think subsidy is going to come in private vehicles in a big way. But whatever comes in may likely maybe targeted towards public infrastructure and public transport. But let's see. I mean, I think I am pretty bullish in terms of the EV, but also realistic enough to admit that EV will not be 100% anytime soon unless there is a significant shift in technology.
If I were to buy an EV today, I wouldn't do it unless I have a city purpose. I wouldn't consider taking it, because even if I take it out station, my eyes would constantly be glued to the range meter. I'd be scared of running out of energy, of running out of charge. So do you think that's also a major concern why EVs in a way now are limited to being just city toys?
Yes, to some extent, yes. I won't say city toys, but primarily, if you look at the private usage of vehicles, it's primarily a second vehicle, or where it is very clearly defined that it is going to be used only as a limited area vehicle, right? So if it's I know of certain instances where maybe it's an old couple who use EVs only for short hauls, visit to the doctor's clinic, to the market, etc. So those kind of applications, I've heard of some applications like this. But but if you look at a primary car of a household, then obviously there is a need, or there is a, even if it's not used, there's a perceived need of a greater range, and EV would find it difficult to crack. But I think what Dr. Mehta also mentioned, that there is a sitting duck here, which is public transport. So you have seen what is happening with Blue Smart in Delhi and Bangalore, and increasingly you are also seeing Ola Electric and electric fleet of Uber and so on and so forth. So I think that is something which is changing and which will change quickly. So if you look at it, from that angle, then even in the four-wheeler segment, about 20% of the vehicles are actually commercially used as taxis. If you see the usage, and you have another solid 10-15% which is second or third vehicle in the family, right? And if you see in the Indian market also, the segment which has converted quickest to EVs has been the luxury segment. So the BMWs and such like. Correct. I mean, a large portion of their sales are EVs, right? And that has happened because most of it is the second or third vehicle in the family, and is moving. Now, what does it take to make EV Correct. A viable option for the average user? I think one of the points that Punas mentioned about charger is valid. Home charging is important, but also increasingly what you are finding is that in office areas you are getting bays dedicated for chargers, right? that also to a certain extent solves the purpose.